Greetings traders, and welcome to my short video tutorial on the eSignal Boomerang Day Trader. I'm very pleased to announce that we now have Boomerang available for monthly lease on eSignal, one of the longest and most respected data vendors in America for the futures. And also on eSignal you can use for any type of instrument for trading, as well as with Boomerang. Boomerang can be adapted to any type of stock, ETF, or futures contract as long as the contract is pretty high volume and very active. You'll get fantastic charts and setups in the charts that'll give you very precision trades. On Boomerang we have several components. First of all, we have the key thing that we focus on is these two trend bands here, known as the dynamic trend bands. They're both magenta colored on the bearish side, and on the bullish side they're the cyan or bluish color. In addition to that, we have this dotted line here which is called the Cobra. Now the Cobra will generally front run the market a little bit, but what we're looking for is for all three of the dynamic trend bands, namely dynamic trend band number 2 here, which is this thicker color. The dashed dot line here is dynamic trend band number 1, and then you have the Cobra here. This thin line running here colors the candles and is known as the trade signal line. Now what we do is when we get a new trend channel that's open, which is signaled here by this arrow in the case of this sell trend right here, the sell trend will open up and we look for a pullback to the signal line in line with our rules in most cases. The reason I say in most cases because when you get a fast run off the opening channel, which is shown here because this is right off the opening, when you get a fast run, then instead of the signal line we look to trade a pullback to the Cobra, which came right in here, or somewhere between generally the trade signal line and the Cobra, right in that space. Generally you can wait for the Cobra and you'll get the exact entry right there. Otherwise we trade the pullback to the signal line, which you can see in this case. We look for a 3-point move, trading the mini NASDAQ here, and this is also good for the other U.S. stock index contracts. Each contract's a little bit different and can be adjusted accordingly, but generally we're looking for a small 12-tick type of move on each trade, and we're using a 20-tick stop. The stops are rarely hit. You get, if you follow the rules, the exact rules that we train you to use, normally you're going to get anywhere from about a 80 to 90% winning trade ratio. So here's the pullback of the signal line. Again, because there was a fast run here, we would trade the signal to the Cobra, and a quick down move gives us the 3 points. I'm just giving an example on this particular day. Now, one of the rules of Boomerang is we don't trade unless, if the dynamic trend band number 2 is flat, we do not take a trade in the markets here. So this crossover here in matching colors is fine, but with the flat dynamic trend band we do not take a trade. We watch for possible continuation or an adjustment in the move within the rules, the simple rules, until we get the exact right setup. In this case, on the sell side again here, pulling back to the signal line right here at 43.92, we get a pullback down here. You can see down to 87.5 for another 3 points there. Again, the dynamic trend bands are not matching here, so no trade. We get another sell signal with all the trend bands matching. You can see right here, all three matching, a pullback signal line, and another 3 points. So you can see within the first hour of trading there was 3 winning trades. Now if you're trading 4 contracts, for example, on the mini NASDAQ, which is shown up here, that's $240 per 3-point trade. So right there in the first hour on this day, you'd have made approximately close to $700 after the commission. So that's a darn good deal. So now the market sells off some more. Now watch what happens here. As the dynamic trend bands cross and match color, and now we're getting a slope up move here. You can see the sloping up move coming in. That's once again where we buy a pullback to the signal line, which are marked by these blue dots and black dots for the sell side. You'll also have an alarm on there which will print instantly. Pullback signal line, and up we go for another winning trade of 3 points. The market starts topping off a little, reverses, we get the the dynamic trend bands, the rule is that as long as they're trading within a point and a half each on this spread, you can see in the orange line on the right side here, over here in the price meter or of this cursor, the 34.94 and 93 even. So it's just 1 point there. So we can take that next pullback signal line, which occurred right here, and down they go. That's our 5th winning trade in a row on this day, and this is all occurring within the first 2 hours of trading. So already that would be equal to approximately, let's see, let me just run that, 240 times 6, approximately $1,400 a day minus the commish already here. But there's plenty more to go. Usually, though, we recommend if you achieve that kind of results within the first couple hours, just stop trading. Tomorrow's a new day. Now here again, we have the crossover, but notice how flat the dynamic trend band number 2 is and the general slope of prices. If you compare that to like here, you can see it's a completely different type of trade. If you draw a line across the top, you see they're flat. If you draw a line here, you see it pointing straight down. You see how that works? So no trade here on the buy side or the sell side. We just watch. Now again, you see the difference here, the sloping down move, the sloping down. If you put the cursor right up on the dynamic trend band number 2, you see that wide space in between there. It looks like a slice of pizza or something. So I call that a pizza slice. How big is the pizza slice? You can see if I put it up on this cursor, there's no pizza slice. But if you put it right here, you can see it's fanning out. So that gives you an idea. That's a very fast, simple way to do it. Here's all the trend bands matching. Pullback signal line, 7th winning trade in a row without any heat on the stop or the entry. Now, one of the other rules of Boomerang, you'll love this rule. We teach it every 2 weeks on our bi-weekly free training seminars that you can attend even before you purchase Boomerang. And watch and see how it's traded. But watch this. We got a counter buy signal, or counter buy channel. No signal because the dynamic trend bands are what? That's right, they're not matching colors, so we're not going to take that trade. Usually when you get a steep trend move like this, you get a counter buy signal, a buy channel that fails, and then a counter sell signal coming in right here. You want to take that sell signal as soon as it shows up, and that's right here on this black dot, right there at 43.65 quarter or half, depending on what the tick was there, and then down they come. Notice it just made a 65 quarter approximately. They just went up to 67 half, 68, just a couple points of pressure on there, but then gradually they start coming down again for the 8th winning trade in a row. And this is natural because later in the session the market will become a little bit feistier sometimes, but a big giant move to the downside. Same thing, price is sloping up here. So what we do is, in this case, when you after a big move, you don't take the first buy signal, you wait for that counter move, then the second buy channel here shown coming back in again here, and then you take that pullback to the signal line and up they go. 9 winning trades in a row. Are we done yet? Well, I would highly recommend if you were in this day and you had 9 winning trades, you'd stop for the day, but I'm just showing you on this tape how effective Boomerang is. So once again, notice the prices stair-stepping down in a downside slope. They're not flat. We got the trend bands coming within a point and a half of each other, a pullback to the signal line, and down they go for the 10th winning trade in a row. Now here's an exact same scenario that we just talked about, although you would never want to take one of these trades because it's way too close to the closing time, but I'm just going to go ahead and show you the chart pattern so you can recognize it. Notice here we're in a trending down move, but you don't go short just automatically. We wait for a new buy channel to open. We aren't going to take the buy pullbacks on these dots because the dynamic trend bands are not matching. What we do though is we watch for a failure of that channel. If it fails, and right here we get a new sell channel. Let me expand this a little bit. We get a new sell channel, which is shown right here on this arrow, and the black dot pullback signal line. There you go. There's the 11th winning trade in the row coming right in the close. But like I said, we would not recommend taking these trades that are too close to the closing time. Still, there was 2 winners, Total of 11 winning trades on Boomerang on this day. And that day, if you want to check your own charts, was 7-9. This was 7-9 trading session. So that wraps up our video, and I just wanted to make sure you understood the components. Now down here on the bottom, just in wrapping up here, we have 3 bias indicators that we use to look into the price, even though you don't technically need to use them. The dynamic trend bands I've built are so powerful that they alone can give you the exact 80-90% winning signals. However, while you're trading, we do have these bias indicators which give you colored readings of the bias, and they show you when the market gets extended by hitting these certain exhaustion levels. This is the bias index number 1. This is bias index number 2, known as the market force index. And again, we discuss all these in detail and show you how to use them on our ongoing training classes. And down here we have what's called the hyper scalp, which same thing. You can see this minor move up here, failure, and then all of a sudden the bias dots switch back to bearish, and they will generally, the hyper scalp bias dots will generally front run the other 2 bias indicators and let you know when to get back on that side of the bias. Very, very precision system that we built here so that you can be successful and profitable in trading. So thanks very much for joining with us today, and feel free to email me anytime that you have a question. My email address is mohan@daytradersaction.com. So thanks again.